So you wanna go to war with me? You're talking like you think you're royalty. You think that I'm afraid, but I don't break. I heard you question my stability. You think I'll fall just like a guillotine, but I am here to stay. Won't look away. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control, feel it in my bones. I'm coming for the, coming for the.
All right, y'all. Happy Sunday, July 2nd. Welcome back to the Cowboy Show, Cowboy Finance, where we are on a mission to put the clickbaiters out to pasture. How y'all doing? Getting ready for the 4th, I hope. It feels like a 4-day weekend to me. I hope it does to you. The markets tomorrow are open until 1 p.m., and then we get another full day off. And I got some good news tonight. Good fucking news. I get to drink again. If you weren't paying attention to the community tab, I finally hit that goal of being down 10 pounds. I thought I could do it in 14 days. Whoops. Getting old. Didn't happen. Took 32 days, but this morning's weigh-in down 11 pounds. Hoorah! So I'm going to crack open a bottle of wine tonight because I don't have any whiskey. I don't have any whiskey here. I'll go stop and get some tomorrow. Maggie, good evening. Ben, Kleiner, Mikey, Dan, good evening to you. Good morning in the UK, I guess. Smooth Operator, good evening. Groundhog Eater, what's up? Captain Arma, Joey, Gia, Luigi, John, Leaf, Clover, Trevor, Anya, what's up? Oh man, 32 days virtually without a drink, other than that one date night with my wife where I forget what I had. Long Island iced tea at AMC. All right. No, I'm not going to kill the bottle tonight. They say one glass of red wine a day can be good for you. So got a little Cabernet tonight. And I don't have a whole lot of agenda. Just wanted to hang out with you guys for a little bit. And let's see. Big thing that everyone is asking me about. Gary Gensler, my Gensler. Is he retiring or getting fired or resigning? I saw the same report this morning or yesterday, whenever it came out that you guys saw. There is no way that I'm going to make a video on that flimsy of evidence. But I saw all the clickbaiters rush to trot out videos. They're either going to be spectacularly early and correct or really, really embarrassed. I have no interest in doing that type of clickbait nonsense off of an anonymous report in a website nobody's ever heard of. Who knows? We'll find out on a business day from a real press release if he resigns. So stay tuned. I'm sure they'll clear it up one way or the other on Monday. Cheers, bitches. Lottery Stocks, what's up, brother? Yeah, now that we're getting past AMC, we got this lawsuit thing behind us. If there's a particular stock that you're interested in that you want to do a collab on, let me know. I think we got a couple weeks in AMC land before we'll have any real news to talk about. So I'm going to be spending my next few days getting ready to talk about some other stocks. There was a great interview on Financial Journeys channel with David Mishery. If you guys are interested in Mullen, I'd suggest you go check that out. And even when I listened to that interview, and let me just start off by saying I have never recommended Mullen in 2 years. So let's just get that out of the way. I have done videos on it saying caution, right? And you guys that have been with me for 2 years know that I said half these EV companies will be bankrupt by the time we're done talking about them. So that being said, I'm glad we've avoided Mullen because it is still yet to post any revenue and the price is just getting obliterated. But I listened to David Michery, the interview, and it makes you want to believe, right? He sounded really good. And he revealed some forecasts, some numbers for production into the latter half of 2023 and 2024. So my goal between tomorrow and the 4th of July is to model his forecast on production into a spreadsheet from their income statement and balance sheet and see what kind of numbers that is going to yield. But I know from looking at other companies like Polestar, Rivian, Lucid, all these other ones, I mean, how many of those are making a profit? That's kind of like my thesis starting out as I go into what is Mullen going to tell me when I model this on a spreadsheet with those forecasted numbers. I would be very surprised if the number that comes up is any different than any other junior EV company. It's going to be a loss. So then the question for Mullen really becomes, can they meet the expectations that Michery's putting out? Will people get excited about it? Will there be an ongoing need for cash as they get into production? And how's all that going to play out with price? So we'll see what the model says. I'm not sure. I mean, if you could buy a potentially startup EV company and 10 cents was the bottom and it went nowhere up from there, sure, that'd be great. But what happens after that 1-for-100 reverse split and they still need to raise cash because they're still losing tens or hundreds of millions per quarter? We'll find out. I don't have an answer yet. I'll be fair and honest, whether it's good or bad, and give you guys an update in the next couple days. Crazy Carl, what's up? Mike, cheers, amigo. Dan Spencer says, Mullen is a hot mess of hopium. Someone on Twitter, Dan, just crossed my Twitter feed, someone I've never heard of, posting a tweet about $575 price target on Mullen. Analysts say. Yeah, and if you Google, I think she even put a link. If you click on that link, sure enough, it says $575 price target on Mullen. What is your thought if you were non-emotional, non-clickbait, just trying to be logical about it? What would be your first thought about how an AI written article, which is what I think this is, even though there's a name on it, how would a $575 price target be out there on a company that has zero revenue and that's currently at 10 cents? That'd be a 500,000% increase. Give me your best one or two guesses how that could be. Let's see how in tune you guys are. Then I'm going to unveil how the clickbaiters fuck you over on Twitter and YouTube with this type of nonsense. Palantir is on the list too. Maggie, thank you. Chris Harris, thank you. Chris says you inspired me to start working out. That is beautiful. You know, I put a couple posts up on my community tab, and even when you're trying to inspire someone, anyone, if I reach out to one person and encourage you to start embracing a healthier lifestyle, then that makes me happy. But people come on there and say, oh, this guy's just, he's a narcissist. I'm sharing my journey. I've been failing on my journey. It's It hurts to set a goal and not attain it. Yeah, I set aggressive goals, but I'm not posting my fitness update to brag about anything. I've been 20 pounds overweight and unhealthy for over a year. It's about time we fix that. So if a few of you get inspired to eat better, to exercise a little more, then that is the point. It's the only point of me sharing any of my personal life. Devastator, thoughts on LIBOR going the way of the dodo? I've seen the headlines. I haven't read the articles, so can't comment. I have been busy with personal life stuff the past couple days. I tell you what, after 3 months of watching lawsuit nonsense, it was nice to have a couple days on. What did I do this weekend? I got my grill fixed so that and I went to the store today, got some steaks, some brats, and some hamburger stuff. I don't know how many people we're going to have over, so I just kind of over-prepared on the shopping. But we got the grill ready. I had to replace the whole wiring harness from the propane tank to each of the burners. That whole electronic ignition thing had been chewed up. So that was a bit of a task. And then yesterday, I went back up to the gym and re-signed up and got my workout in. Today, I got a 8-mile walk. I call it a walk hike. It was very slow because I was in pain. And grocery shopping. So yeah, that's been my weekend. Not a whole lot of work stuff, but tomorrow we start back, and then I'll get as much done as I can on Mullen. I'll look into the LIBOR stuff. Palantir's on the list, and we'll see what else we can get done until the next update from Judge Zern. Anthony asking, do I think in general the market is moving away from crypto because of the whole FTX scandal? I think, Anthony, that certainly had a lot to do with it. Then the threat of government regulation had a lot to do with it. But ultimately, over the long term, with all of the big boys, the big money, the Citadels and BlackRock getting involved in crypto, I think part of that scaring people out was so that these guys can come in and establish even more dominance before they start the fake pump up to steal your money and then rinse and repeat. So I think there will eventually be the next bull cycle. I don't know how long we'll have to wait for that. Maybe for the economy to start picking back up. But yeah, I don't think crypto is dead. But my biggest fear of everything is government interference. Bigums, what's up, amigo? I will talk more about LIBOR tomorrow because although I've seen the headlines, I haven't had time to digest or come up with any meaningful thoughts about it. Dan says, once you hit 150 years old, any exercise is a blessing. Amen. Yeah. Just to recap, when I said in today's title, this live stream is just going to be about nothing important because I've been taking 2 days off, 2 much needed days off. So I have been reading headlines, but I haven't been trying to work, analyze, think about shit other than my own personal life and things that have been neglected around the house. We did a lot of house cleaning and just, getting ready for the 4th festivities. Dr. Dazzle says you should do a poll and see if people thinks reverse split will pass or not. Bigums, you want to come on and talk about, or I can give you a dial-in number if you want to talk about LIBOR. I don't know if Bigums has been working these past 2 days or not. All right, we can do a poll. I kind of have a sense how my audience is going to answer that poll. Will they, let's, how can we word this? Will Zern approve or not approve the settlement? Just a reminder as we start this poll, I'm not an attorney, I'm not an accountant. I do have a decent amount of stock trading experience, a degree in economics, minor in banking and finance. Been trading for about 30 years. This is not financial advice. These are my opinions, my analysis. Nobody tells me what to say. Nobody pays me. And I am not popular because I tell you the fucking truth. If you are here for hopium, just a little bit of warning, you're probably going to be offended on this channel. We're going to talk real shit because I know you guys are tired of getting strung through the ringer on failing penny stocks. Failing penny stocks, Sundial, GTII, Mullen, you name it. Dime a dozen, and they're still getting pumped even to this day. And I cannot wait to start talking about not only that bullshit, how retail keeps on getting duped by clickbaiters and grifters, but start talking with you about some solid plays, how to analyze what is a good stock, and how to read the chart on a good stock to get a good entry. Good stocks being ones with profits. Go to the earnings, go to the income statement, look for multiple back-to-back quarters of positive earnings, positive net income. Those are your long-term holds. Everything else, all you see is negative on earnings. All you see is no revenue or losing money. Those are your gamble plays. When someone tells you, do not invest more than you can afford to lose, I want you to think in your head, I'm going to lose all of this. Then you have no one to blame but yourself because you consciously made that choice, knowing that you're probably going to lose it all. You're taking a gamble, you're speculating, you're taking a risk on a company that has losses or no revenue, like a Mullen. It's not the CEO's fault. It's not the hedge fund's fault. It was your choice to enter that risky play. Always scale your risk. Look, I invest, speculate, gamble on those trades too. But you got to have an exit. And you got to be emotionally strong enough to see through the clickbait. Like someone saying that Mullen has a $575 price target. Why? All right, let's put up the screen on Mullen. Not that one. Well, that is the right screen, but we don't need the schedule on in here anymore. We don't need that. All right, so this is from the Wall Street Journal, March 2022. Wait, not that one. Right here. Wall Street Journal, using the Wayback Machine. You can see 2022 right here. 2022 right here. And what was there were 0 analysts covering it, but somehow they had a stock price target of $23. Now, if we look at the same website today, Wall Street Journal, $575. How does that happen? Well, there was never any analyst covering this stock. Someone put $23, I don't know how long ago, excuse me, a year or two ago. It's been there at least since March of 2022. If you multiply $23 times the 1 for 25 reverse split, guess what you get? $575. So this is not a current analyst price target. This is an orphan price target from years ago that has never been updated. And Wall Street Journal just reflected the 1 for 25 reverse split. So please don't fall for this bullshit on Twitter or YouTube. People trotting out analyst price targets of 575 for Mullen. What a joke. What a fucking joke. Maggie is asking, is that the only issue that Zern will decide? According to what Chance, the lawyer, has said, Maggie, now I've heard many other things on YouTube and Twitter, right? She's going to dismiss, she's going to invalidate the conversion, or she's going to invalidate the reverse split. She's going to send Adam Aaron to jail. Now, there's one thing that she is judging: approve the settlement or not. That should be our expected outcome, A or B. So the question to ask yourself, to be grounded in reality of what to expect and not in the world of clickbait and conspiracy, did the attorneys successfully argue for a settlement to be approved or not? I heard Zern ask a lot of questions to the plaintiff, like, why did you bring this case in the first place? I heard the plaintiff basically admit, we thought we had a case in the beginning, but then we realized we weren't going to win on any of the stuff that we brought the case on. So we agreed to a settlement. And the judge is, in my opinion, most likely going to say, well, alrighty then. The Delaware court, the Chancery Court, is biased towards approving settlements if a settlement has been approved. Now, there were some passionate arguments by Izzo's attorney and the objectors, but no, in my opinion, no legal basis not to approve this settlement. And you've already seen the special master take a legal review of all of the objections. She couldn't find any legal basis to hold up the settlement. She said even if the settlement was half of the $100 million value, it's still a stunning win for retail. I get it. You don't agree. I'm just telling you her words. So my feeling is that that is going to be the same type of logic that Zern is going to use. Now, I listened to a couple minutes of Al, and he's like, Judge Zern's gonna, go to the 4th of July fireworks show and look at her family in the eyes, and she's gonna crack a tear for the retail investor. And he actually said maybe she'll be on her period and be emotional. I mean, come on, Al. How insulting can you be, bro? I'm not joking. He's researching the cycles of women up in Delaware to see if there's any correlation that he can tell you about. Literally his words in his 4-hour live stream. This is the level of conspiracy that some of these channels go to. Anyways, I think that emotion and her menstrual cycle are going to have nothing to do with how she decides. It's going to be based on the law, the fact that a settlement was agreed to, and that's going to be it. Now, were there some issues brought up in the court that we'd all like to get answers to? 100%, baby. 100%. Dark pools, share count, all of that stuff. All of us would like answers on that. Me too. What I've been trying to patiently guide you guys through over the past several months is to not get your hopes up that the court is going to address that, because the Delaware Chancery Court is not the place for those issues, and they weren't brought up in the original lawsuit. So those were never going to be considered by the court. They're all valid questions. Don't ever twist me trying to give you expectations of what's going to happen with the court for saying there's no fuckery going on. I'm just saying this court does not care about that. Get a different lawsuit going in the right venue against the right people, FINRA, DTCC, whoever, and maybe you get somewhere with that. But this was a lot of people throwing a bunch of oatmeal up against the wall, hoping it was stick, but wrong venue for those. And that's why I feel like these people are going to end up being disappointed. And even more so, not just the grifters on YouTube and Twitter that have been telling these, filing all these filings, but the thousands of people that listen to them and actually believe that they had a shot, and for whatever reason can't admit to themselves that the Delaware Court of Chancery was not the place, as much as you might wish that it was not the place to get those things heard. As much as I might wish that that was something we could get an answer to, just not the place. Devastator says, I'm expecting this short week for AMC and APE to be fairly quiet. Yeah, I heard Frank over on Al's channel say he's been following Ants Trade's charting, and they're expecting a major run up. I'm like, guys, please. I mean, this is why you're so misguided. First of all, you're listening to Ants Trades. Second of all, you're trying to chart a stock which is being pinned down by a pending lawsuit settlement. There is, in my mind, very, very minuscule chance that AMC could run because there is no one to buy it. Everybody is sitting on the sideline waiting for the lawsuit to be settled out and the conversion. And that will have a negative impact on AMC's price. So what institution is going to come plow in a bunch of money into AMC? Now, where could we catch them? Where could we catch them off guard? The shorts. Where could we catch them? If Zern takes 90 days to issue a decision, and in the meantime, in the first week of August, we have a stellar Q2 earnings and the cost to borrow, that's 5 weeks from now, right? And the cost to borrow is still 1,000%, and there's no shares to borrow. You could then, on a fantastic Q2 earnings, get some upward momentum. But if you're still waiting on the judge, what kind of legs is that going to have? Because everybody knows what's coming next. But that's my optimistic, I really, really think we're going to have a good Q2. That video will be coming out hopefully tomorrow. By good, I mean we're not going to be negative earnings like the analysts right now are predicting. I think it's going to be slightly positive. So what that translates to in terms of price momentum, hard to say. Because you're going to have retail excited, but you're going to have institutions saying, yeah, we're going to wait for the conversion. And so the question is, can retail overcome the shorting power on good Q2 earnings? That's going to be the question. Do the algos take over for an hour or two or a day and push it up? So cross your fingers. I sure am. I'd love to see AMC go up. It's just not expecting it till we get Q2 news. Simon says, if you want to gamble on the judge approving the settlement, what is the play? Sell AMC and buy APE. I'm not going to give anyone trading advice at this point in this very emotional play, Simon. I'll repeat what I said months ago when APE, was especially below $1. What an opportunity to buy undervalued ticker relative to, it had the same economic and voting power as AMC. What an opportunity at that time to buy it. Same thing we've been preaching for a long time. Now it's, at a $1.80. So you had a chance to double or triple your money, but now you're stuck at $1.80 until Antara is done selling. They are down now to 93 million shares from 220 or 250 million, however many they had. So they've got a bit more to go. I said over the past 2 weeks that they would be under 10% ownership before conversion. They're now under 10%. And if they continue at the rate that they're continuing, I'm expecting that they will be, if they continue selling at the rate they've been selling, I'd expect that they could be out of the play by July 20th. Around there, give or take. So, hard for me to tell you what to do at this point or recommend anything, because I think APE is likely to be pinned around this point. And if we were just to pretend, though, that Antara was out of the play, they weren't doing any more selling, then if I'm walking up off the street fresh and I think that conversion is going to happen, and I see one at $4 and one at $1.70, $1.80, and they're both going to be the same thing, even when you account for the arbitrage and the difference in the size of the float, there's still, I think, about a 60 or 70 cent upside on APE. Maybe a little more. I should bring up my little arbitrage chart. Hang on 1 second. Hang on 1 second. Javi the Great in the house. What is up, amigo? All right. This is what we're looking at on the left-hand side. Current price of AMC, $4.40. Current price of APE, $1.74. Got your floats, got your market caps. Market cap is just over $4 billion. That gives us a expected post-reverse split price of $26.49. A little asterisk. I have not yet updated this model to include the 1 for 7.5 AMC award. So that will drop this $26.49 by about $1. Because it's going to increase the shares. Yeah, it'll increase the float of AMC after the reverse split. So let's say $25.50. And that gives us, but if we forget about that for a second, right now the arbitrage opportunity is 91 cents. That means APE will go up a little bit, AMC will go down a little bit until this 91 cents in difference goes away. Now, what would that look like? That's what this model over here is for. We can input our own little numbers. Let's say this goes to 230 and this drops to 390. 375. 240. You can see as these come closer, the arbitrage opportunity goes away. The higher APE gets and the lower AMC becomes, the more risky that trade of buying APE becomes. and you still have the legal uncertainty of you don't know 100%. You don't know that the settlement will be approved. So far be it for me to counsel you on what to do at this point. You got to kind of weigh all the risk and make up your own mind. The most recent best opportunity was a few weeks ago when AMC was at $6 and APE was at $1.50. Now that gap has closed. Corex, what's up? 2532 is what he's showing. Hey, Corex, can I give you a call-in number? I want to hear your thoughts on, because I don't have Restream set up, but I want to hear your thoughts on, like, why. Let's just throw out Mullen for a second. Why the Mullen people think it is so offensive for me to comment on their bullshit. Someone on Twitter said, Tony Denaro needs to stay in his lane. He's only allowed to talk about AMC. All right. I'm pretty sure there's about 5,000 different equities in the market. And I follow quite many of them and have been answering your guys' questions on many of them for 2 years. And these dipshits think that I'm only allowed to talk about one ticker. Hang on, let me look up the number, Corex. I don't have this number memorized yet. All right, I'm going to DM it to you. All right, check your Twitter DM. Here's what really got me upset on Mullen, and it's the same thing that gets me upset with the grifters and the clickbaiters in AMC. This chick tweeted out, she was all happy about the David Michery interview, which I already said. I found it very, very uplifting and enlightening also. Like, it's hard not to get bullish listening to David Michery. All right, Corex, let me turn on desktop audio and let's see if can you say something and let's see if the people can hear you? Well, I can't hear you. Corex, are you there? Hello, hello. I heard your mic for a second click, but I can't hear any voice. So basically what she said in her tweet was the David Michery interview was really good. It was. But then they issued an 8K about the sale of 22 vehicles, and it had a lot of warnings in it, like 8Ks and 10Qs often do on troubled companies. And she basically said, I think that these warnings are just there to cover their ass, insinuating that you shouldn't pay attention to them. And that, my friends, is a very dangerous game. When someone is telling you, ignore what the company is saying, you should run the fuck away. Always read the filings, understand the warnings, and pay attention. If they're saying, we're going to keep diluting, or they're saying in an 8K, we have not actually sold any cars to customers yet, despite that press release that you just saw yesterday, you might want to pay attention to that. Did Randy Marion just take the vehicles, or do they have a customer sale? When is that customer sale actually going to happen? Corex? Hello? I'm getting some keying of your mic, some clicking.
Hey.
Now I hear you. I heard a voice. I hear you.
Off this. Let's see if I can.
Can you guys hear him mumbling? Corex, I hear you. Speak. They say they can hear you too.
Oh, pick me up. I don't know what's going on.
We hear you. I don't know if he can't hear me.
That is super weird.
maybe his headset's not working. He's struggling. What does my shirt say? Sorry for the mean, awful, accurate things that I've said. Grandpa Barney in the house, what's up? Is that supposed to be a journeyman? No, you're not a journeyman lineman. What is JRY, lineman? You're too old to be a journeyman. Grandpa Barney, look what we got in the house tonight. Rubber Ducky 428 says, have hedge funds been making money selling covered calls or puts and controlling the price with their abundance of shares? Yes, everybody is manipulating every under pressure stock. AMC, Mullen, any stock which has negativity going on in their balance sheet or income statement, yes, absolutely. The price is being controlled. How do we get out from under that? Fundamentals. In fact, I hope you guys go listen to David Mishery's interview on Financial Journey's channel. You'll hear him say at least 2 or 3 times, what is he focused on? Improving the fundamentals. It actually warmed my heart to hear him say that. And I was like, well, at least this guy's head is in the right place. He's like, I know I'm being shorted. I know that investor confidence is low, but my job as CEO is to improve the fundamentals. And then those problems take care of themselves. That is actually the right attitude. Whether or not Mishery can deliver on it is a whole nother question. But the words that I heard him say is what I want to hear any CEO saying. Same thing that Adam Aaron's saying. We need to focus on improving the balance sheet. We need to get to profitable quarters. Improve the fundamentals, you become not a desirable target to the shorts. Until then, there's very little that you can do. Anya, yeah, I saw you message us in the Discord about May, and I went to go click over to her live stream, and it was already over. So I'll add that to my watch list. Uli says, can you show your Q2 chart? Are you talking about my expectations for Q2 earnings? If that is what you're asking, that video will drop hopefully tomorrow. So let's see where we ended up on domestic box office mojo. $2.67 billion. That is beautiful. Damn near 2.7 billion. So I know that my spreadsheet, my model, is predicting a slight profit for Q2 based off of that number. And I've gone through every line item and I feel pretty good about it, but just in the interest, you know, I hate making mistakes. In the interest of making sure I don't have a wrong formula or something, I'm going to go through it with a CPA hopefully tomorrow, make sure every line item makes sense, and then I'll get that video out. So it's my model. I created it. I created all the formulas, but I still like to have someone double check my work because I hate fucking being wrong. Are we going to load up the bank account with Q2? No, but if we can have positive 3, 4, 5 cents instead of negative 6, that's good. And that gives us a good indication of what 2024 might look like when every quarter could be 2.6 billion or more without popcorn, Gia. That is without popcorn. I would love, in fact, I have a tab in my spreadsheet. Maybe I'll show that tomorrow in the video. I have a tab where I make some guesses about popcorn, but I'll tell you, my guesses on popcorn are nowhere near the wild numbers that you're seeing going around. So I think it'll be, it'll be a adder to earnings, but how much? Probably, I'm going to come in way on the conservative side. Because again, I don't like to be wrong. I'd rather give you guys a realistic number and then have them beat it because of popcorn than tell you some wild number and be way, way off on my guess. So I need to hear from Adam Aaron, unit sales for Q2 or gross revenue from popcorn. If I can hear either of those numbers, then I can dial in my model very, very accurately. John, credit card, I've said this many times, I'm not counting on that as any meaningful revenue contribution for AMC. I know that goes against the grain. I know that goes against what you're hearing, especially on the clickbait table channels. There's like no way that AMC could lose money. They got the credit card. They got the popcorn. Like, no. These guys couldn't financial statement their way out of a paper bag. They don't understand what the credit card is. They have no numbers. They're making up stories in their own head. This is one of the few things that I agree with Morant's rants about, that the credit cards are basically for customer data mining. And they might get a little bit of cash thrown to them from that, but I don't predict that credit cards are going to be any meaningful revenue contribution to AMC. So I'm not going to count anything for that until I hear something different. And would I love to be wrong? Yes. On that, I would love to be wrong. Should we do a second glass? Yeah, of course we should. Dennis says, how is Indiana Jones doing? Let's see if we can pull it up. I saw someone say 160 million. Wow. 152 worldwide. Not too hot. I mean, for the studio, right? AMC is making money on every ticket sold, but the studio needs at least 350 million to break even. So opening weekend, not stellar. I'm kind of curious. Let's put up another poll. Now let's go ahead and close out this one. 68% of you think Zern will approve. 32% say that she won't. We're going to end that one. I'm going to put up another poll for those that have seen Indy. I don't even know how to. It's a multi-threaded poll question. But here's my thoughts. If you are my age, like 50s or higher, and you grew up with Indiana Jones, I think that you probably like this movie. If you're a 20-something, 30-something, you never grew up with Indiana Jones, and you just walk into this movie, it's probably not going to mean anything to you. An elderly Indiana Jones slips quietly into retirement. I could see how that'd be kind of like depressing, and for me, I thought it was a great tribute, a great send-off. I'm curious, though, your guys' age bracket. If you saw the movie and you liked it, or you saw the movie and didn't like it, let me know. Liked and your rough age bracket. Disliked, rough age bracket. Did I think it's like an Academy Award-winning movie? No. Did it bring back memories of the original first two movies for me? Yeah, it had all the elements. And especially for those of us that are older, like seeing a guy no longer in his prime still be able to get down one last time. I liked it. Korak says it's like the older pro wrestlers. If you don't have a connection to the character, you don't get it. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I totally get it. If you're 20 something, low 30s, and you walk in, you're probably you wouldn't hurt my feelings to say you didn't like it. If you don't have any relationship or history with Indiana Jones. He was iconic when I was growing up. Everything about Indiana Jones, it's like watching the first ever Star Wars movie. Did I tear up a little bit? I'm gonna be honest. I got in the very end of the movie. Yeah, it got a little emotional. I got a little verklempt. But again, if you say you're younger and you didn't like it, I get it. You're not going to hurt my feelings. I went in there with very low expectations, and I was expecting the female character to be overbearing and too much of the plot, and I think they handled it well. Hopefully, the series dies right there. Like if she becomes the main character of any Indiana Jones after this, I will not go see them. For me, it was all about Harrison Ford. Magnetic resonance. Okay, he's got some additional DD on credit cards. He said he recalls Adam Aaron mentioning the credit card idea because he had a card with one of his prior companies and it was quite profitable. All right. I hope you're correct. I hope Adam is correct. I hope I am completely out to sea with my take on the credit cards. Anything, if it is incremental revenue and it's in the tens of millions of dollars, that helps. Bill A says, should I watch the prequel before? Yeah, I would say at least watch the first two, Bill A, if you got time. Watch the first two, maybe the first three. You can skip the Crystal Skull or whatever the hell that last one was called. At least watch the first two. Pat says, will there be a new QSIP with the conversion? There will be a new QSIP with the reverse split, yes. That is not, in my world, a any sort, no sort of squeeze catalyst. Change of QSIP. What are the blockbusters for Q3? All right, good question. I looked through the Q3 and Q4 movies, and there are some good ones in Q3, but I'm expecting a loss in Q3. Wide release, we have Joyride. That one is coming out. Insidious. Mission Impossible is going to be the big one. I already got my tickets for that. Terrifier. Oppenheimer is going to be another big one. Barbie. Boom, boom, boom. Mission Impossible, Oppenheimer, and Barbie. All right in July. Then we move into August. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Passages, I don't know what that is. Gran Turismo. I just saw the preview for that. It sort of looked interesting. I don't think it'll be a $1 billion movie, but I bet it'll make some money. Strays, we got this adventure animation comedy with Will Ferrell, Sofia Vergara, Jamie Foxx, Isla Fisher. It's kind of like a dirty kids movie. It will not be a kids movie. The Equalizer 3, September 1st. Let's see the September schedule. My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3. Do we really need a 3 on that? Dumb Money. We got that one on September 22nd. And then Paw Patrol, September 23rd. So, I mean, yeah, we're front loaded in July. I think we'll know by the end of July how our Q3 is going to look. Oppenheimer, Barbie, and Mission Impossible. Those are the three that I'm really, if any of those outperform, maybe we'll do okay. Yeah, SMK, I remember playing Gran Turismo. So I need to see the preview a couple more times, but the premise of the movie, from what I gathered, is there's a race and this guy's trying to hire kids that grew up playing the game because they know the track, and he runs a field camp for them in real race cars and picks the best one to actually drive the car in a real race, which is kind of an interesting premise if you think about it. Anya says, I hope Barbie is the next Rocky Horror. I saw when I was watching the latest preview in the theater for Barbie, Anya, it said, if you love Barbie, this is the movie for you. And if you hate Barbie, you also must see this movie. I thought it kind of humorous that they're embracing that people are either going to love or hate that movie. Now, originally, when I very first saw the first preview, I was like, this is the most idiotic concept ever. But as the trailers get big, a little bit longer, and they keep on releasing more of them, I'm thinking more to myself, okay, this might actually be stupid funny. We'll see. Gran Turismo is based off a true story. Really? I did not know that. Broke Ape says, I'm surprised Flash didn't do better. Yeah, disappointing to me. I knew going into it that there was a lot of controversy with Ezra. I just put that aside because I really don't care. And I just went in to weigh the movie on its merits. And you guys already know I'm not the biggest superhero movie fan in the world. That's not like my preferred genre. But I thought they did a great job. Like I was entertained more so than some of the other superhero movies we've seen lately. Corax, are you going to try again? He hasn't called back in. Hopefully he's trying to sort out whatever his issue was. Dan says the writer's strike still worries me for next year. Yeah, the longer that goes on, the more it is likely to impact movies that are further into, 2024, 2025. We've talked about that before. Like initially, if the writer's strike was just a couple of weeks, daily TV shows, weekly start getting impacted. But movies that have a script, or are in pre-production, not a big deal. But if you're in production, there are script updates, usually even on a daily basis. And so some of these movies that are in production that were planned for 2024, 2025 release, it is going to impact them. Corax. All right.
So last time, you could hear me, but I couldn't hear you. So let's give this a second.
I can hear you now. Audience, can you hear Corax? Say something. Okay, they say they can hear you. Can you hear me?
I don't have it muted.
I think he's still
on hold.
He's trying to figure out why he can't hear me. Let's communicate with sign language or
videos,
Navy flags or something.
Check something here. Okay. Let's see if I can. I'm kind of curious.
Check your settings. I know that's what he's doing. Michael, I would read that, Michael, but I know everybody can read it in the audience. Your DD on the Flash. Because I don't follow superhero movies enough, I don't even know what all of that means. I mean, I get it. They're killing off the franchise and changing the direction, but that not my area of expertise. My youngest son, the one in college right now, He's got all that shit memorized. Me, I'm just, show me a good movie with some good battle scenes, some characters that make me laugh. I'm happy. Most of the time when I go to a superhero movie, I'm confused. Keeping up, there's so damn many of them. Keeping all that shit straight. John's Day Trades, what?
All right, so I just want to make sure. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes. Affirmative. What is dumb money rated, John?
Okay, so I think I've jerry-rigged this, but it's going to be on a lag. So.
Okay. So let me just pose the question to you, Corex, and then I'll let you talk. What are your general thoughts about retail continually getting...
I've got the stream pulled up on my phone.
All right. My question is, what are your thoughts in general about retail continuing to get rope-a-doped by these grifters on Twitter, and why do they keep on letting this happen to themselves? Let's see how long the lag is.
That's a great question. If I knew the answer, that'd be the $1 million question right there. The $1 million question right there. I think a lot of people. I think a lot of people get suckered into kind of a cult situation. That's usually been my theory.
Joey is asking, what do we mean by rope-a-doped? Like the girl who is putting out Twitter tweets today on Mullen saying, just ignore the 8K. It's just a CYA from their attorneys. And by the way, there's a $575 price target on Mullen. That is a fucking rope-a-dope from somebody who doesn't know what she's talking about. And then they tell me, how dare you comment on Mullen?
Because I mean, we've had this discussion, just the two of us, a couple times on Twitter, where the same situation, or when I've been on stream before about Bed Bath & Beyond.
Yeah. Bed Bath & Beyond, GTII, CGRA, Sundial, I mean, MMTLP, MMAT, ILIS. The list is endless of these penny stocks that people pump with unrealistic DD, tell you don't pay attention to the financial statements. The company's great. What are they reading that we're not reading, Corex?
I don't think they're reading. They're just believing. It's a religion. It's a faith. It's we're sticking it to the shorts. It's become a moral fight over things that have nothing to do with the company itself.
And that is the problem, right? In the short term, you can have a voting machine where retail can vote the price up in the short term, but in the long term, the price of the stock always ends up being a weighing machine. And what is weighing against the price is the financial statements and the fundamentals of that company. And over the long term, no votes which push the price up for a couple days or a couple weeks can outweigh the fundamentals.
Especially when things have changed a whole lot in the time since, we had all this COVID stimulus and everything. And so the vote was outsized compared to the weighing. And now the Fed has switched it around and they're tightening on everything. And so now we're getting back to the weighing of what the company actually is compared to what people imagine.
It's both unfortunate and frustrating to watch happen in real time. And I mean, look, I lived the same thing with AMC, right? We voted the price up in 2021, and then the market crash hit and interest rates started going up in November 2021. And big money started leaving the market, leaving non-profitable companies. And we've watched the price get wrung down from $50 to $4 and change, that weighing machine effect. And we're not in 2021 anymore, like you were saying.
Yeah, and it's going to be that way for a while. It's hard to know what the future is, but what you kind of got to have to do at this point now is start focusing in on the financials, reading the 10Ks, and picking your spots right.
Now, I know, Corax, unlike me, you're not necessarily a fan of a movie theater company, and I get that. That's okay. I have evolved my analysis of this company from one of just betting on retail being, I've evolved my analysis of one just betting on retail being able to beat the shorts to one that is primarily focused on the financials and fundamentals, because at this point in this market, it is my belief that that is what is going to be needed. Other than a lightning strike or asteroid hitting the stock market, like this 1 in a million catalyst, the financials and the fundamentals are going to be ultimately, over the long term, what makes or breaks the stock price of AMC.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even say necessarily that I'm against AMC or against your guys' investment so much as I don't see what you guys see, and I may eventually see what you guys see next year or whatever, whenever AMC turns things around. But that's just what the situation is right now for me.
Well, I see a company that is losing money. I see a company that is going to probably make money this quarter. I see a company which needs to raise cash because the shorts love that we're running low on cash and probably going to have 2 negative quarters. That is what I see. Like, it's not super bullish to me, unlike the clickbaiters who don't look at financial statements.
Yeah, and that's a real honest way to look at it, because like you said, it's a company that needs cash now, that likely will not be immediately profitable, or if it is, it's only going to be for like a quarter. But that's just the way the situation is right now, and you got to have a visibility for what you see in the future and be honest with yourself if what you saw didn't happen, and move on. Or if it does happen, you made out great. I've had definitely some companies that I've had to wait for to see the fruits of what I invested in take shape.
And I get it. What I'm saying is not a popular opinion, right? Well, for most of my audience, this is not popular for me to say they're probably going to lose money in Q3 and Q4. And it's probably, if that is the case, the shorts are not going to be really scared. But the one thing that could change that equation a little bit, may not eliminate the shorts, but beefing up the balance sheet can at least improve the outlook because it takes the risk of bankruptcy off the table. The downside is you got to dilute to do that. That's a pain that retail is going to either choose to live through or get out of ahead of that dilution. And that's everybody's choice to think about as we get closer to this day.
Yeah, and sometimes, just getting out is the better option. I know after this play is over with, I know a good portion of what I'm doing is going into bonds because I mean, when the government's giving you like 4% or more just to have your money set with them, it's really hard not to say no. Why risk your money on equity that could be fudgy?
Especially if you're thinking there's a chance of a market deterioration later this year, right? Did you happen to catch Market with May's Bond AMC video today?
Yeah, for sure. No, I had not. Though I've been meaning to watch her stuff because she seems to know her way around the bond market, and that's something that I'd like to learn more on.
Sparky, we lost your message there for a second, and Corax, we didn't catch the end of your sentence.
Oh, I think what I was just saying is I hadn't seen the video that you mentioned from her, and I've been meaning to catch up with some of her stuff because I remember being on with her, I believe, once, but she seems really knowledgeable about bond stuff, and that's an area that I know some about, but not so much on the corporate side, like corporate bonds.
Yeah, I don't do a lot of bond trading, so definitely not my area of expertise, and I don't like to talk about stuff that I don't actively trade. But what I gathered from looking at her Twitter is she saw an opportunity, if you're willing to take the risk and buy these AMC bonds at a discount for, I think it was about 6 3/4 of a point on the dividend payment. I don't know if that is correct, but that's what I recall seeing.
Yeah, that's something. Yeah, that's something that I had heard about from just people that sometimes like the bond is a lot better and a lot more secure than taking the equity if you feel that the company's going to be fine.
Yep. Sparky says problem with dilution is YouTubers have convinced retail it always means a rally. Yeah, I Sparky, I think, there's a fair amount of the clickbaiters who are saying the opposite, right? They're very worried, and myself too. Dilution, you should not be thinking of dilution as a rally. I don't know who is saying that. Mostly what I hear is people talking about, oh, we're scared of the reverse split. I'm not worried about the reverse split by itself. Mathematically, that changes nothing. I am more worried about a dilution announcement coming out around the time of the reverse split. And I'll let Corex share any insights or thoughts he has on that too.
Yeah, because they're going to. Yeah, because I mean, we all know that they need to get more liquidity in, and that means that they'll have to offer more equity. And like that, I hear it a lot from a bunch of these pumpers that, oh, I bet you as a put holder are scared of the reverse split. No, I can't wait. This is the whole part of the play that I'm in. I hate how people spread all this misinformation about the reverse split when they don't understand the entire situation of what's going on.
DM says, Adam Aaron said dilution is why we rallied. Did he lie? D, I do not agree with Adam's statement. I don't agree with any CEO who tells you that dilution is why any stock rallied. CEOs sell into retail FOMO push-ups. The price was rallying. He sold into it and took advantage of it. Dilution did not cause the price to go up. That just does not make sense to me. Correct. So what do you think?
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't think, like, I'm sure that there was a bunch of people willing to buy into as he was selling shares, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the rally itself was caused by them selling more shares. That's correlation, not causation there.
I think what happened is people saw the double bounce on GameStop and they thought there was going to be a double bounce on AMC. And so after the first run up and then Adam started diluting, people were still buying because they thought there was going to be a double bounce. And the company took advantage of that, like they often do. Watch my funny video called CEO Handbook. This is a very, very common strategy that CEOs use, and I want you guys to be aware of it so that if you're in a stock that needs cash, you should expect dilution and you should expect that it's going to kill rallies.
Yeah, and why not take advantage of that when it's offered by the shareholders? I've never really understood why, AMC and GME trade together. I get that they're meme stocks and everything's like that, but like they're two different companies in two different sectors with two different businesses. So why would they trade parallel with each other? And if you're AMC setting into this situation, why not take advantage of it when it's given to you?
I think they must trade together because of some algorithm issue. That is my best guess, because all of these, there's no way retail can move. Like when we saw the basket of meme stocks moving at the same time in 2021, there's no way retail coordinated moving that quickly at the same time. I think it was some sort of algorithmic trading from a short hedge fund, or not a market maker, high-speed trading firms. That is my best guess.
It could also very well be. I know since the rallies have started, that happened around the GameStop shorts, because there's been a lot of these momentum ETFs, and you get a couple of these ETFs, and a bunch of people put money into those funds, and suddenly, it's the tail wagging the dog.
John's Day Trades asks about good dilution versus bad dilution. So there is such thing as good dilution versus bad dilution, and that all harkens back to a speech that Warren Buffett gave at a investor meeting a decade or more ago. If companies are able to raise cash and then use it or invest it in a way to enhance shareholder value, that is good dilution. Now, what I cannot tell any of you is Adam Aaron going to use any cash that he makes to ensure that it was good dilution? At this point, I've already shared my view on this with you guys many times. The best thing that I think they can do is just stack cash on the balance sheet to ensure 2 more years of life. $2 billion buys them at least 2 years of not going bankrupt. That's kind of like the life vest, the good dilution. If they dilute and then waste the money, I'm not going to be too happy. Hilsey, thank you. What do you think about good dilution versus bad dilution, Corex?
Yeah, and all you can do really at that point is hope that's what happens, because as a shareholder, you've got.
If
Okay, there's a lag kicked in there.
yeah, the lag.
You got you got to hope that management works properly, because, like you said, you don't directly vote on the CEO and everyone. You kind of indirectly vote.
Are you familiar with how the AMC's board and all of that is set up? I hear a lot of people talking about we need to vote out Adam Aaron. Are you aware of how that is set up at AMC? Just out of curiosity. Let's talk about that for a second.
I know you've mentioned it a couple times before, where you guys can vote on the board of directors, and the board of directors votes on management and all of that. How a lot of companies, I guess, work. It depends on each company and their charter.
Yeah, a lot of people think that we can just vote out Adam Aaron as CEO, but the only vote we have is on the members of the board, and the board hires the CEO. So this whole clickbait shit about we need to get rid of Adam Aaron, I don't see that really going anywhere. That I get the sentiment, I get the emotion behind it, but the reality is we don't really have that kind of power as shareholders.
I mean, it'd be really interesting if you got a situation like, what was it, ExxonMobil, where they had, what was it, Engine 2 or whatever. They came in and they got enough shares, and they kicked, as one of these investor firms, they kicked out, got some board seats and changed things. But you'd have to really organize retail to get behind that, and that's really hard to do when everyone has their own individual ideas, as we've seen even in this situation with the reverse split and all that.
Even if we tried to do that, they could pull the fucking preferred share end run around us. And I mean, who knows what they could do? If someone tried to come in and buy enough ownership to change the board, they could drop a bunch of new preferred shares and do an end run around that. And Dan says, who is Adam's replacement, right? That's a good question, Dan. Even if we got Adam Aaron fired, what do we get next?
Yeah, there's so many different tricks that companies have, and that make it really hard.
D says, why did they invest in the mining company? That is a great question, D. It's going to end up being either it was a setup to help Mudrick, or it was a fabulous investment if you're willing to wait 3 to 4 years. We won't know for 4 years if Highcroft was a good investment or not. Now, why do I say that timeline? I was pausing to see if Corex jumped in, but why do I say 3 to 4 years? Because Highcroft needs to finish their exploration. They need to build a milling plant, and then they need to restart mining. So that's going to be several years. And then you hope that silver and gold prices are still high or higher than they are now. So it's an unknown. I get all of the negative sentiment. That's what I've been saying for a year on Highcroft. Like the hype on Highcroft is way overdone. You got to be freaking patient with that stock. It's got a lot of volatility to go through, and we might not be at the bottom right now because they have no revenue and they're going to need to raise money to build that that milling plant. So if Highcroft goes bankrupt, then I'm going to say he wasted the money bailing out Mudrick. But if they don't go bankrupt, if they manage to put together a exploration plan that justifies building a milling plant, and then they start mining that massive resource that they have underneath the ground and make some money on it, in several years, you might see that it was a great investment. AMC got in pretty cheap, and they got a bunch of bonus warrants, but clearly we're a long way away from $1 a share right now that they paid. So you're going to have to wait. And if they fuck it up, I will call it out. Until then, I just say, be patient. Don't plow a bunch of your hard-earned money into Highcroft, and let's see what happens.
Yeah. And
Go ahead, Corex.
Yeah, and the problem with it isn't also Highcroft got all these like mining. It's a little bit tougher to get the resources out of the area that they're extracting from, and things like that. It kind of goes back to some of these people that I've been talking with as far as oil and gas resources is what's the cost to extract the resource. That's really the challenge of investing in those kind of things.
Look, they have a combination of ores there. They've got sulfide ore and an oxide ore. One of them you can put on the leach pads, and one of them you need a lot more expensive equipment to treat in a milling plant. Grinders and I forget. It's in my previous videos that I did months ago. You need a bunch more equipment. And what they have left to pull out of the ground, they don't have the equipment to process. That's the problem with Highcroft. So they need to continue exploring, make sure they have enough ore to justify the expense of building that milling plant, and then they can go forward. That's where they're at. And
yeah, that definitely makes sense then.
That's
always the problem with whether it's, wildcat oil and gas or a mining operation like Highcroft or any of these other operations.
And the thing is, like, all of this was in the filings from day one on Highcroft, which is why I came out biased, kind of negative to Highcroft from day one. Like, I read all of the exploration reports, all the previous history of the mine, everything that they disclosed in the 10Qs. None of this has been a secret, but the fucking clickbaiters just, I don't know what, I mean, they bought in at $3, so they don't like me telling the truth. They call me a paid hedge fund plant for reading the 10Qs to people. Like, every single thing that I've said over the last year for Highcroft was straight out of their documents. And I got called all sorts of names. No one's ever apologized for all the bullshit they called me. Meanwhile, the price has fallen from $3 to 30 cents. Entirely predictable.
It's the funny thing is like, when I retweeted your thing on Mullen, is that, even these companies that will lie to their investors, lie to their shareholders, all sorts of things, lie to the public, they don't hardly ever lie when they're talking to the SEC with their filings that they post up on Edgar and everything, because they don't want to be in trouble with the federal government. They'll lie to everyone else, but they won't lie to the government. So you need to really read those filings, because there's no secrets there usually.
Amen. That's why I always say, and I have refused to decode tweets or read too much into what Adam Aaron said. Everyone always wants to ask me, what did Adam Aaron mean by this tweet? I don't do that shit. because it doesn't matter to me what he says in a tweet. The only thing that fucking matters to me is what is in the damn filings. All of you guys who got hoodwinked or believed in this tweet bullshit, stop doing that on any company. Mullen, Highcroft, AMC, GameStop, any of them. Just stop. Trust me. Read the filings. You're going to be a lot more educated, make a lot better choices on your investments. Sergio
Yeah,
says,
and read those filings, because a lot of other people won't be reading them, and then you'll have information that puts you ahead of the game. I mean, most of the companies that I've invested in that were like the companies that, like TIG, that I was into last year, that I knew that this company was way undervalued because I read the financials, and then when they got bought out, I was already ahead of the game as to what the value of the company was.
Broke Ape is asking about Sofi now that the student loan forgiveness got shut down. I would just think on face value, Broke Ape, that would be good for Sofi. I owe you guys an update on Sofi, and I recently, the most recent purchase I did on Sofi was in December, around $4, so I'm up about 100% on that, and I've been looking at it, deciding if I should sell or hold, but I need to do another deep dive for my own due diligence. When I do that in the coming week, now that I have time, the AMC thing is behind us, when I do my own deep dive fresh on Sofi, I will share that with you guys in a video. Buckaroo Bonsai, what's up? Soul Seeker, what's up? He says the clickbaiters pumping Highcroft was hilarious. I mean, it's
those kind of financial assets. Like, even if the Fed does decide to cut rates, those might end up good.
Yeah, I have high hopes for Sofi in the long run, but I mean, they're still losing money, so they're not out of the woods yet. But it's been 6 months or more since I've done a video on them, since I've done a deep dive. So let me do that. And I promise you, I got Sofi, Mullen, Palantir, a bunch of videos that I owe you guys now. Maybe we have a couple weeks to get that done. When I make a video, it's like a full day investigation. I don't just make a video saying my opinion, or I think, or I hope.
Well, it's past midnight, so I'm going to go ahead and cut out on you, Tony. Glad you had me on.
Correct. Thank you. Appreciate your time. Now, I do a lot of DD. It doesn't mean that I am always correct, right? But when I make a video on a company, it's generally pretty well thought out, and looking not just at the filings, not just at the financials, but thinking about strategically what is going to happen in the next 3, 6, 12 months. Correct, you're good. I think, the lag was not so awful that we couldn't work around it. Thank you. That was a noisy Corax. You can check him out on YouTube or Twitter. Just a heads up, he's not the biggest AMC fan. I think he does have a position in APE for the arbitrage, but I appreciate his no nonsense view on many different stocks and just retail clickbait in general. So that's why I have him on as a guest, and I think we need more honest voices in this community and a lot less clickbait. All right. I'll take a couple more questions. We do have trading in the morning, so I don't want to be up all night. I just wanted to come on live and have a glass of wine since we finally hit that 10-pound goal, and I can. One or two more questions. Make them good. Thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight while we're waiting on these last questions. Thank you to the mods, Anya. Brocape says, I thought I was the ultimate trader jumping into the market. Bought Tesla at 25 and sold at 30. Anya says, why don't you try white wine in the hot summer? The idea, Anya, when I bought this bottle of red was I was going to cook a steak tonight. And I ended up just making, my dinner tonight was 4 ounces of ground beef with 2 over easy eggs. And I didn't really feel that was justified a glass of wine with it. So, yeah, I just prefer red over white just for the antioxidant piece of it also. But I'm not against white wine. Dan says, I'm only here for the clickbait. How do I work out, Joey? So the last 30 days, I was concentrating just on doing cardio. And that did not really work out, to be honest. 30 fucking days of doing walks, runs, high intensity interval sprints. And just wasn't coming off as fast as I thought. So I decided after the first 2 weeks that I was just going to do 30 days of cardio and then start back at the gym on July 1st and get back under the barbells. So I did go back. Yesterday was my first day. I do strong lifts, 5x5. You can Google that. It's free. It's a 2 workout program, workout A, workout B, squats every workout. And then A and B include on one of them overhead press and deadlift, and on the other bench press and barbell bent over rows. And then you can add other stuff to it. I add pull-ups. I add some ab workout like hanging knee raises, hanging leg raises. But it's meant to be a quick full body barbell workout. So, and every workout, if you were able to do 5 sets by 5 reps, the next workout you go up 5 pounds. So within about 90 days, you'll be at your max probably. And it's fairly intense. I've tried everything over the last 30 years. I'm not obviously a bodybuilder physique. I'm just trying to be fit for my age and have relatively low body fat. And that program works for me. So I'll be doing a lot of squats, deadlift, bench press, overhead press, bent over rows, pull-ups, and some other ab work, planks, hanging leg raises, things like that. Quick in and out every other day. And on the off days, I will either rest and rebuild, recuperate, or I will, if I'm feeling okay, I'll do some light cardio, like a bike ride, swimming, light jogging. And the funny thing is, I was stuck. I lost 9.5 pounds in the first 20 days. And then I've been stuck at 186 and a half for the last week. I went in the gym, did a barbell workout yesterday, did a walk today for 8 miles, And when I weighed in today, I had dropped almost 2 pounds. Now, I'm going to attribute that to the gym, because I've been doing the cardio thing for 30 days. Nothing changed except getting under the fucking bar. So and I've been doing calorie restriction, about 13 to 1,500 calories a day. I should be at 2,500 calories a day. Still didn't matter. I couldn't lose 10 pounds in a month. But now I'm down 11. I'll increase my calories now. I'll definitely be upping the intensity with the barbell workouts. And I got 9 more pounds to lose in the next 60 days. So under the weights, my muscle mass will go up. Body fat will go down. It'll be harder to lose weight because I'll be trading muscle for fat. So I'm giving myself 2 months to lose 9 more pounds. And I will be eating more. It was a sauerkraut, Anya. Yeah, I did go buy some probiotics. I got some cold stored kraut. I got some kefir, which is kind of like a liquid yogurt. Really good stuff. First time I ever tried that. And I got some kimchi also. All right, John's Day Trades. Super Steven just watched Indiana Jones. What did you think, my friend? Super Steven being in the younger age bracket, I'm curious what he thought. John says, how can a company like Clean Vision, that's the name, right? CLMV, on the OTC reach their company goals with no dilution, as Dan Bates promises? I've been watching CLNV for many, many months, John. I'll tell you that I owned them for about a week, and then I sold. That was several months ago. And I'm not convinced enough to tell you that it's a great buy. Now, I know Frank Benedetto pushes that stock, and he believes in that stock, and I believe in the vision of that company, right? Improving our waterways, getting trash out of the waterways. That company needs some solid contracts. If and when they get that, I think it can do okay. Until then, I'd say look at the balance sheet, look at the income statement, do your own DD, decide if they need dilution or not. If they get no contracts, if they have no increase in revenue, what do you think is going to happen? It's all about, for many, many of these companies, can they book some damn revenue or not? If they do, they'll fucking take off. If they don't, you're going to get obliterated. How do I know? Who am I to tell you if they'll get those contracts? I don't know. That's the gamble. I would say if you like the company, if you like their vision, scale your risk accordingly. You don't want to load the boat on a risky penny stock. And then if you see that they come out with a fantastic announcement and you've been following the company and you have confidence in it, that is when you jump in. Otherwise, you're just going to get melted down. But I like the company. I wish them all the best. They've got a great mission, fantastic mission. I like Frank. I'm not convinced enough yet to buy and hold CLMV. But I keep on watching it. Keep on watching it. Nikola, out of all the EV companies that I've been following, is not one, Israel, that I've done any sort of deep dive on. So I couldn't talk intelligently about it. my eventual goal for you guys is to get a DD video out on every single one of the EV companies, including small ones like Hyliion, the EV semi company, which is right in my damn backyard. And you know, those bastards never once returned one of my emails or phone calls. I said I want to come meet with the management, talk to the engineers, get a tour of the factory. Nothing. That makes me a little concerned for Hyliion. But my goal, you know, now that we're starting to have time as the AMC thing moves into the next phase, I will be doing initiating some coverage on all of these companies. I've done Mullen. I've talked about Neo briefly. I don't like it because it's Chinese. I'm going to start doing more coverage on Tesla. I need to update you guys on Polestar. And then we'll get into the Rivians and the Lucid. I mean, they're all hot messes in their own way. But we want to know if any of them have a chance, which is the one that has the best chance. I want to know that just like you guys do. I don't currently own Rivian or Lucid or Neo. But I want to do a deep dive on them because what if? What if they have a shot? Wouldn't you want to get in close to a bottom? So as I do my DD, when I spend a day investigating something, I will share that with you on a video. Until then, I'm not going to talk about it just off of a press release or some headline. Let me get the real work done first, get kind of a baseline of where they're at, then we can do ongoing updates. Broke Ape says, does it count if you order through A-List and don't show up? I don't know. You mean like, does it count for revenue or for your points? I think for your points, you have to have your ticket scanned, but I don't know for sure. Steven, I'm waiting for your update on what you thought about Indiana Jones before we call it a night. Joey, thank you. Joey says, best wishes for your health. Dan says, just get a wife who can't cook, lose weight fast without the exercise. My wife does not cook, Dan. Unfortunately, I'm the cook in the family, and most of the stuff I cook, she won't eat because she's like a meat and potatoes and Twinkies girl. Well, not really Twinkies, but she's improving her diet, but she doesn't like a lot of the veggies that I eat. So steak she'll eat, chicken breast she'll eat, chicken tenders she'll eat, pork chop she'll eat. Anything with a bone, no. Seafood, no. Green veggies, no. So you can kind of see the dilemma here. And I often give her a hard time. Like in the 7 years we've been together, all the grocery trips that she's done never comes back with lettuce or veggies or fruit until what? Until she buys some rabbits. Then she's spending 30, 40 bucks every week on greens and fruits, but not for me. The fucking rabbits. Anya says, do you remember one of the things we learned in economics? Opportunity cost. Yes, Anya, I remember it painfully. John's Day Trades, thank you. And cheers to you. Tomorrow's Monday. I was going to go today. I wanted to have my first drink to be a scotch. But I think tomorrow I'm going to run up to the big bulk store and buy this sampler pack they have of Johnny Walker. It's 200 milliliters each of black, Gold Reserve, something else, and Johnny Walker Blue. So maybe tomorrow, if we do a live tomorrow night, we'll have a sample test live with Tony Denaro. And I've watched a couple of other YouTubers, and believe it or not, the blue is not winning the blind taste testing. So I'm curious what my reaction is going to be. You know, I'm a Johnny Walker Black drinker. But I figured, you know, I'm not going to spend $230 on Johnny Walker Blue when I can buy a sampler pack for $99. If it's not good, I'll stick with my black. Anya, I think Anya, that macroeconomics, you guys know my major was in economics. But for all of you, there's a couple things that you should go on YouTube and learn, or take a community class and learn macroeconomics and accounting. And if you want me to talk more about that stuff, I'm happy to. But macroeconomics will change your worldview on everything that's going on in the markets. And things like opportunity cost, supply and demand. And accounting will change your worldview on how you evaluate companies. Because if you can understand an income statement, a balance sheet, and a cash flow statement, all of a sudden all the clickbait doesn't matter. You can see them for the fucking grifters and nonsense bullshit that I call them out on. You can see it for what it is, because all of a sudden it's like the doors have been opened. These guys are trading on emotion, on a circle jerk of, you know, grabbing each other. Oh, he said it, let me repeat it. Yeah. They don't know. They don't know what they're talking about. And then they get mad and want to blame the CEO. Everything that has happened, everything that will happen is always talked about in the 10Qs and the 8Ks, the 10Ks. And if you can just spend the minimum amount of time to learn that, if you're holding a stock for the long term, you're going to be so much better off than 90% of retail traders. And then if you want to learn some TA and some chart reading, that is great for day trading, momentum trading, swing trading. It's not great. It's meaningless for long-term holds. The reason why every single one of these guys has been wrong, from Trey to, I don't know, who are all the TA people? Rico, Ants Trades. I mean, they're a dime a dozen. The reason they're wrong over and over and over is because they're only looking at the chart and they're ignoring everything else. You cannot do that. Super Steven says strong lifts will make you stronger than 95% of people. Amen. Steven, when I walk my 50 plus something year ass into the gym. Now, granted, this was a year ago. And I run up to that pull-up bar and then strap 90 pounds on a belt and crank out 10 pull-ups. People are like, what the fuck? How's this skinny ass old man doing that shit? Same thing when I deadlift 300 pounds. You don't, I'm never going to have a bodybuilder physique, but you can be strong, you can be fit, you can improve your strength and your balance and your bone density and ease into the latter half of your life with grace and a chick that's 20 years younger than you by taking care of your body. Strong lifts 5x5. Check it out. It's free. 100% free. Israel says the Johnny Walker Blue is overrated. That's what I gather. That's what I gather from watching the YouTube. Juicy in the house. What is up, amigo? Anya says that sucks about Hyliion. They were probably at a pool party. I don't know what the heck. They seem like nice folks, Anya, and they're fellow Texans. I should bug them again. I saw that David Mishery invited Cal from Financial Journey out to the Mullen factory. I'm going to write to David Mullen and ask him if he'll extend the same offer to me. Now, what is different about me? I've been in auto manufacturing facilities. I've been in mass production facilities, not of autos, but other products. I've been in custom auto production shops in Brea, California, in Texas, in other states. And not calling myself an expert by any stretch in auto manufacturing, but I bet I know a little bit more about manufacturing than Cal does. So I hope that David Mishery will extend the same invite to me. I'd like to go get a first-hand view. I can sniff out a bad factory, a fake process in about a couple hours. So we'll see. We'll see if he'll let Tony 10 Grit Denaro come out to the Mullen factory. And I have no incentive to pump it. I will. If it's great, I'll tell you it's great. If it's not good, I'll tell you. If it's great, I'll tell you it's great. If it's not good, I'll tell you it's not good. Mostly what I gather is they're taking pre-assembled Chinese vehicles and rebadging them, adding some Mullen specific components, which I have no problem with. That's not a negative to me. If you can turn a profit on that, I got no problem with that. The Mullen 5 is ultimately their grounds up product, right? So it's disappointing to me that they keep on pushing that out, but they're chasing the dollar, and I don't blame them for that. I'm not negative on Mullen. I understand the risk of auto manufacturing and the long, long road of losing money till you get enough product pushed out to turn a profit. So I wish them all the best. I do. I think I think David Mishery wants his company to survive. He's in a fucking tough industry. All right, Steven with the 30-year-old bracket. You missed my comments earlier, Steven. I said I think if you're in the late 40s to early 50s bracket, you'll probably like Indiana Jones. And if you're in the 20s to 30s bracket, you probably won't like it because you don't have any connection with the characters. But it doesn't hurt my feelings, so don't worry. Juicy says he just got back to taking moms to watch Indiana Jones. And Juicy, what did you think? I'm guessing you're in the 30-ish bracket, Juicy. Israel asking about the tequila. I have a bottle. Was it you that recommended that one to me? Oh. So fucking sore, like reaching is it's a pain. I have the Terramana right here. It's not opened. I'm not ready to jump straight back into tequila. Today was my first day. So I had the red wine tonight. Tomorrow we'll do the scotch, and then eventually we'll get to the tequila, but I'm not ready to jump straight into that. It's been a month with no alcohol. Juicy says he loved it and he's 45. All right. I do listen though, Israel. And I have high hopes for the Terramana. I listened to you. I grabbed it when I ran out of my other tequila. I probably should buy a Patron so I can do a side-by-side. Let's do that. When I go to the liquor store tomorrow, I'll get the sampler pack of Johnny Walker, and I'll get a small bottle of Patron because I don't need 2 big-ass bottles of tequila. I'll get a small bottle of Patron Silver, and I'll do a side-by-side one other day in the next week, and we'll see. I'm going to be a rookie all over again. Yeah, that's what I feel like. Probably so. Anya says, do they have Talisker? Ask for a taste test. They have everything. Like the store that I go to, we've got a neighborhood store just right out, 5 minutes away. And then we have the big box store like Specs and Total Wine about 10 minutes away, Anya. So the big box store, they literally have everything. Everything. Steven Sufyan has not answered me yet. As soon as he does, we'll get the AMC video out. I told them earlier in the chat that I'm ready to go with my AMC Q2 prediction video, but because I hate being wrong, I would like someone to double check my work and make sure that I'm not missing anything. So hopefully he responds in the morning. Woo. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to call it for the night. Thank you for joining the live stream about absolutely nothing. I think we covered a lot of good ground tonight. If you, again, I apologize if you made it all the way through, and I understand my channel for the people that like the conspiracy stuff and the hopium, it's not the greatest channel for that, but I assure you, this is a acquired taste. Like, if you are patient enough to not say something stupid and get blocked, you're going to be back eventually saying, fuck, I hated you a year ago, but you were fucking right. I hate that I listened to these clickbaiters, but Tony Denaro, you were fucking right. I thought you were a shill. I thought you were a paid actor. I thought Adam Aaron gave you a script. But you were fucking right. Stick with me. Try not to be insulting, because I don't want to block anybody, but I will, because I don't care. And for you real OGs, those of you who want the truth, want the non-clickbait, want the financial statement breakdown and the real talk, whether it confirms your bias or contradicts them, I appreciate you. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for giving me your time. Again, nobody pays me. Nobody tells me what to say. This is my analysis based on my education, economics, finance, banking, my experience, 30 years of winning and losing trades. Do I get it right all the time? No. Am I right 99% of the time? If you're patient enough, yeah. Yeah, that was a little cocky. They don't call me 10 grit for nothing. All right, guys. Love you. Thank you. Have a good night.
So you wanna go to war with me? You're talking like you think you're royalty. You think that I'm afraid, but I don't break. I heard you question my stability. You think I'll fall just like a guillotine, but I am here to stay. Won't look away. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control it.